What's up? Welcome back to Coaster Brothers. In today's video, we are going to be counting down my top 20 roller coasters ever for the 2021 year. So as you know, guys, it is 2022 now. Happy New Year to you all. I released 2 new vlogs the other day. Go check those out. I did a Nickelodeon Universe vlog, and I also did a Six Flags Great Adventure Holiday in the Park vlog. But let's just get straight into the video, guys. So basically, I have ridden like right over 100 roller coasters. I believe it's like 106, 105 or something like that over the past year, 2021. My coaster count struck 100 and surpassed 100. And today we're basically going to be counting down from 20 to 1 what my top 20 favorite roller coasters out of those around 100 coasters that I've been on. So, without further ado, let's begin the countdown. Alright guys, number 20 is a coaster that would have been higher on this list, but due to recent rides and me finding that it has gotten rougher, it is now in number 20, barely making it on this list. This coaster is TMNT Shellraiser, though I just call it Shellraiser. It's a Gerstlauer Eurofighter located at Nickelodeon Universe at American Dream Mall. It is very similar to Takabisha in Fuji-Q Highland, which is not a park I've visited yet. But this coaster has a drop that's 5 degrees steeper. 0.5 degrees steeper, making it the steepest coaster in the world. That drop is a very insane drop, especially how you hang at the top for there. So what are some facts about this coaster? Well, Shellraiser is at 141 feet tall, and the drop is 138 feet. And it has a top speed of 62 miles per hour, but it mainly reaches that speed from its launch, which sends you 62 miles per hour in 2 seconds, which is insane. This coaster also has 7 inversions, which is actually a lot of inversions compared to other coasters. And obviously this launch doesn't compare to other launches on this list. 0 to 62 miles per hour in 2 seconds. That's a pretty intense launch. But Kingda, which is later on in this list, sends you to 128 miles per hour in like 3.5 seconds. So it's insane. But Shellraiser is suffering from one thing that has caused me to put this coaster lower on the list, and that is this coaster being very rough at times. Now, it has pretty uncomfortable over-the-shoulder restraints to start with, so there's already a slight downside, and there is some headbanging. But on top of that, there are very rough sections of this coaster. Now, these rough sections typically are not in the beginning of the coaster. The beginning of the coaster is pretty smooth. Those first couple inversions, the coaster goes through them smoothly. There are a couple rattles, though, in the beginning, though the launch is definitely really smooth. But then once Shellraiser reaches this point where you're seeing right now, where it's about to crest up the 142-foot-tall lift hill, 90 degrees, and then drop 121.5 degrees, that is where things get rough, right after that drop. It's really rattly and rough, and it gives me a very, very, very bad headache, guys. This is why I never lap this coaster if there's no line. I always just ride it one time, and then I need to take a big break, and this really is bad. When I grew this coaster in 2020, January of 2020, so actually 2 years ago, I really liked this coaster. It wasn't rough, but somehow within those 2 years, this coaster has developed several rattles and rough transitions through those elements. So that is why this coaster is not that high up. Number 19 is Magnum XL200. Magnum XL200, I have very mixed feelings about, and honestly, it depends on the day I'm riding and what row I'm in. The Magnum XL200 is an aerodynamics hypercoaster. Fun fact, guys, it was actually the first hypercoaster in the world, making it the world's tallest roller coaster. And this opened in the 80s. Yeah, as the world's tallest coaster, it stands at 205 feet, and plunges you down about 195 feet, with speeds of around 70 miles per hour. And this coaster is a okay coaster. It is a good coaster. I mean, for crying out loud, I prefer Magnum over TMNT Shellraiser. And that's for one reason. Airtime. Guys, Magnum has a lot of airtime. There are tons of floater airtime hills mixed with tons of ejector airtime hills near the end. And you literally get ejected out of your seat sometimes. Now, the only downsides I have with Magnum is that some of these hills can be janky. Like, for instance, those final airtime hills, the ejector airtime hills in the tunnels, those are janky hills, but you really get whipped out of your seat on those hills, guys. Like, I have no other way to describe it. The only downside, guys, is that it can be janky at times, pretty rough, and there are bad restraints, guys. These restraints are uncomfortable. Honestly, guys, it really just depends on what row you're in, but this coaster is a really good one. Coming in at number 18 is Raptor at Cedar Point. Raptor is a B&M invert. It was actually the first, not the first, but one of the first B&M inverts. It opened in May of 1994. Its height is 137 feet, max speed 57 miles per hour, and it's a total of 6 inversions. This is actually one of my favorite inverted coasters out there. It has a really strong layout. It's really forceful, especially that final helix. If you're ever in Ohio or at Cedar Point, you definitely got to go check out Raptor. A lot of people don't like the restraints. I honestly don't mind B&M inverts restraints. I know they're over the shoulder, so you're definitely going to get headbanging. But I actually have a way of preventing headbanging. You lean on parts where there would be headbanging, which are like corkscrews, heartline rolls, the cobra roll, those kind of spots. Even on the helix, you're gonna get headbanging on those spots, likely. But if you lean your head forward on those spots, you will likely not get the headbanging. So that's a tip for you guys in case you're ever wondering how to prevent the headbanging, because those restraints can be uncomfortable. I honestly don't think they're uncomfortable, they just cause headbanging. So, yeah. Coming in at number 17 is another B&M roller coaster located at Six Flags Great Adventure, and this is Bizzaro. Bizzaro is a B&M floorless coaster that sits at 142 feet with a max speed of 61 miles per hour and 7 inversions, which is a heck of a lot of inversions. It has a loop, a dive loop, a 0G roll, 2 corkscrews, and a cobra roll. Now that's a lot of inversions, and that's actually the reason I love this thing, for the inversions. My favorite part of the roller coaster is that dive loop. It has an insane special effect where as you're diving down that dive loop, fire sprays out at you from these flamethrowers. It gives an insane experience, feeling that you're going to dive into that fire and burn. And this is just a great floorless coaster. It is my favorite floorless coaster. And I just love this thing. And there are actually rumors that it is getting rethemed next year to either back to Medusa, which is what it was originally, or to the Riddler. So it's definitely going to stay a DC theme, but I don't know, guys. But this is just a great floorless coaster. In the number 16 spot is Boulder Dash at Lake Compounds. And guys, I only have this insane wooden roller coaster on here for one reason, and that is its insane night rides, guys. Now, I'm soon going to do a top 10 video on my favorite night rides for roller coasters. my top 10 roller coasters for night rides, and I can already tell you Boulder Dash is going to be at number 1. This thing takes you on an insane journey through the woods, and you just are in pitch black darkness. It is just an insane experience that you have to experience if you're ever out in Bristol, Connecticut. You go to Lake Compounce, and if the park is open past dark, definitely ride Boulder Dash at that point. But yeah, for facts about this coaster, Boulder Dash is a CCI wooden coaster. It has a height of 50 feet, but it actually drops you at around 115 feet. That's because of the way it interacts with the terrain. It has a max speed of 60 miles per hour. Obviously, it has no inversions. And yeah, this is just a really good roller coaster. It delivers some good airtime also on those final hills. And yeah. The next coaster on our list is Superman Ultimate Flight, which is a cloned flying coaster. Now, before you start ranting at me that I'm a GP, all of that, let me explain myself, because I know this is an unpopular opinion for number 15 out of top 20 roller coasters. Now, this is my favorite flying coaster, and for one reason. It's the only flying coaster I've experienced so far. I'm going to experience more, but for now, it's the only one I've experienced. But I find this coaster pretty forceful, at least the pretzel loop. And I just find this majestic, because you feel like you're flying on this coaster, and that's why I like it. And it's just a unique experience that most coasters don't have, and that most people have not experienced. But facts-wise, the coaster stands at 106 feet with a speed of 51 miles per hour. It has 2 inversions, which is the pretzel loop and I believe a heartline roll. And then the drop angle is 50 degrees, so not that steep. But when you're lying on your stomach, facing straight down, that feels very steep. For restraints, it has vest restraint, but it also has what I like to call ankle flaps. Yeah, I know, that's a weird way of calling it. But there's these flaps that hold you in by the ankles. So yeah, that's my opinion on Superman. Coming in at 14 is my favorite B&M invert, and that is Banshee at Kings Island. Now, this coaster stands at 167 feet with a max speed of 68 miles per hour, and it has 7 inversions, guys. Now, the reason this is my favorite B&M invert is because of that insane drop. If you were in the back of this roller, if you're in the back row during the drop, you're going to get whipped over that drop. And it is so steep of a drop, guys. This coaster also has a lot of inversions that other B&M inverts don't, like a pretzel loop. And it also has, I believe, a heartline roll, which is uncommon for B&M inverts, guys. Heartline rolls. And the number one thing that I love about this coaster is there's no headbanging, because this coaster has vest restraints. Most B&M inverts have those hard over-the-shoulder restraints. This coaster has vest restraints, which prohibits headbanging. And that is just why I love this coaster. There is a small rattle at times, but most of the time this coaster is pretty smooth. It doesn't have a heartline roll. It has an inline roll. Right there, guys. And yeah, that's why I love Banshee. But it's definitely not my favorite roller coaster, though. It definitely makes it for favorite inverted coaster. Alright, guys, coming in at number 13 is Mystic Timbers. This is a GCI wooden roller coaster located at Kings Island in Mason, Ohio. This coaster has a max height of 109 feet. Speed is up to 53 miles per hour. And guys, let me just tell you, this coaster may be a smaller one, but I love this roller coaster, guys. This is my second favorite wooden roller coaster in the world, guys. It's an amazing drop if you're in the back. You're going to get whipped over that drop. Then there's tons and tons of ejector airtime. It's ejector airtime hill after ejector airtime hill. Whippy turns. I just love this coaster. The only downside about this coaster that I think all enthusiasts will agree is the shed. The shed. The dreaded shed. At Kings Island, you could have done so much better, but you had to put in the shed. Yeah. Yeah, if you're a coaster enthusiast, you know what I'm talking about. If you're GP watching, well, you're never going to know, because I'm not going to get in-depth with that in this video. But yeah, I don't focus on the shed, I focus on the actual coaster, and Mystic Timbers is a good one. Number 12 is the Jersey Devil coaster. This is an RMC Raptor located at Great Adventure in New Jersey. This coaster stands at 130 feet with a max speed of 58 miles per hour. It has 3 inversions, the Raven Dive, the 0G stall, and then the 0G roll. And guys, let me tell you, this is a great coaster. That first drop is like nothing else. If you're in the back, you're going to get whipped over it. The airtime hill after the Raven Dive gives you so much ejector airtime, guys. Like El Toro level ejector. Then that turnaround, not too much special. You do get great hang time on the 0G stall. And overall, guys, this is a great coaster. The only downside with this coaster is the way the operations work. Because it is a moving station, guys. So you don't get to choose your own row. And the way the seats are arranged in like a hexagon shape, I find that a little uncomfortable. But other than that, Jersey Devil coaster is a great single rail coaster by RMC. And coming up next is Valravn in the number 11 spot. This is a B&M dive coaster. It is 75 miles per hour, has 3 inversions, and of course the drop angle is 90 degrees. And the thing I love about this coaster is the restraints. See, this coaster has vest restraints, meaning you don't get any headbanging on it. And that drop, guys, it is amazing. Smooth, not intense really, but it feels really graceful. And I don't know, I just really like the drop. And it has some great inversions like the Immelman. And honestly, this is definitely my favorite dive coaster, even though I've only been on one. Though soon I'm going to be on some more. But this coaster used to be the tallest, fastest, and longest dive coaster, though Yukon Striker took that record. Though it still shares the tallest dive coaster record with Yukon Striker. Starting off our top 10 countdown is Wicked Cyclone, an RMC hybrid coaster located at my home park, Six Flags New England. This coaster stands at 109 feet and has a top speed of 55 miles per hour, 3 inversions, and the drop angle is 78 degrees. This is one of the smaller RMC hybrid coasters, but I've ridden this so many times since it is at my home park, and I just love this coaster, guys. It has so much airtime. It never loses its pace. Has great inversions, and it's just a super intense ride, guys. When you look at this coaster, you'd think that is a small coaster, which is why it is underrated. But, guys, Wicked Cyclone is amazing. It's a great RMC. RMC really did a good job with this one. The next coaster on our list is Superman the Ride, another coaster at my home park. This is an intimate hypercoaster. It is 208 feet tall, 77 miles per hour. And drop angle is 72 degrees. This is a great hypercoaster, guys. It has some good airtime. Well, not really. Yeah, there's it's hard to explain with Superman, guys, but Superman has the speed. It has those speedy transitions nearing the end, the spaghetti bowl nearing the end, and that helix. And those final drops are great on Superman. Those airtime hills, you get a little airtime, but because of the brick restraint, lap bar, you don't get the airtime, especially if you're stapled on Superman. So that's the one reason why Superman. That's the only reason why Superman is not higher on this list. It has the potential, but Six Flags, you really didn't meet it. But still, Superman is a solid hypercoaster. Coming in the 8th spot is Nitro. This is a B&M hypercoaster located at Six Flags Great Adventure. It stands at 230 feet tall, has a max speed of 80 miles per hour. And guys, I love this coaster for one reason and one reason only. Airtime. Guys, Nitro packs in a big punch, not for ejector airtime, but for floater airtime, which I love. Because Nitro's floater airtime is very sustained, especially on that first hill you're viewing right now. It's very sustained. If you're in the back row, you're going to get it going down that hill. It is an amazing experience that everyone has to experience. It's insane, guys. Floater airtime, and now obviously ejector airtime is more intense, but floater airtime feels more insane. I don't know why, but it just does. Because you literally feel like you're floating, and that's why it's called floater airtime. But guys, I also love that drop. Even though it's not that steep, 68 degrees, it still is great. And with those B&M clamshell restraints, it allows me tons of room to get that floater airtime, which is why I love Nitro. And guys, my favorite wooden roller coaster is at the same exact park, and that is El Toro. El Toro is an Intamin prefabricated wooden roller coaster, 181 feet tall, speeds of 68 miles per hour, and a drop of 76 degrees. Guys, this is an insane work of art, guys. El Toro, the best wooden roller coaster in the world, guys. I stumbled to even put this behind Diamondback, but the Diamondback won because of other reasons, which we'll get to once we start talking about Diamondback. But El Toro, guys, is insane. Manufacturer is Intamin. Of course, they did an amazing job. There's tons of ejector airtime on this roller coaster, guys. And guys, I have so much to say about El Toro, which I can't do in this video, though. So I will be doing a full in-depth review of El Toro very soon, in a couple of weeks. But yeah, that's my opinion on El Toro. Insane. Probably the best wooden roller coaster on the planet. Next coaster on our list is Diamondback. Diamondback is another B&M hypercoaster. And this is my favorite B&M hypercoaster, guys, just above Nitro for one reason. And it has more airtime and a stronger layout. Sure, the layouts are pretty similar, but I find Diamondbacks to be more forceful. Now, I know that there is a rattle on Diamondback, but I don't really mind it. And I find this coaster to be forceful at times, and I just love that splashdown finale. And an amazing drop, and that's why I rank it above Nitro. Beginning our top 5 is Maverick. Maverick is an Intamin Blitz coaster located at Cedar Point, the Peninsula of Thrills, thrill capital of the world. It stands at 105 feet, which is not that impressive, but it reaches speeds of 70 miles per hour and has 2 inversions, and has a beyond vertical drop of 95 degrees, guys. And guys, Maverick is insane. It may not be very tall, but it is extremely intense. I mean, for crying out loud. I rank this above El Toro, an insanely intense roller coaster. Guys, Maverick doesn't really focus too much on airtime, but it focuses on insane whippy transitions, high-speed turns, and it has a secret launch that you launch through a tunnel in the middle of the ride that, if you're a GP, you will not see coming. So yeah, Maverick, insane blitz coaster. Coming in at number 4 is Millennium Force, an Intamin Giga Coaster. This coaster stands at 310 feet with a max speed of 90 miles per hour. And guys, you're probably wondering, why the did I put this in front of Maverick? And let me explain for a sec. See, some enthusiasts prefer low-to-the-ground transitions, fast, high-speed transitions, low-to-the-ground, but I am one of the enthusiasts that prefers transitions way up high in the clouds, getting floater airtime. That is my preference for roller coasters. And Millennium Force has that. It has those big sweeping airtime hills, that big gigantic view of Lake Erie at the top of the lift hill, and that is why I prefer Millennium Force over Maverick, really. It's a solid Giga Coaster. Counting down from 3, we start at the world's tallest roller coaster, Kingda. This coaster stands at 456 feet with a 418-foot drop and speeds of 128 miles per hour. And the way you get to that speed is from the launch, which sends you to that speed in 3.5 seconds. Guys, this is an insane experience that every enthusiast has to experience once in their life, in which I did 2-3 months ago. This coaster is at Six Flags Great Adventure. And that launch, guys, is insane. We're talking insane, guys. You feel so much force on that launch. You literally feel like you're being dragged across the track, and then you're facing straight up, going 456 feet, then spiraling back down 90 degrees. But before you go through that 90-degree drop, you go through a corkscrew, which is really interesting. But overall, Kingda, everyone's got to experience it at some point. Coming in second place is Orion. Orion is a B&M Giga Coaster located at Kings Island in Mason, Ohio. This coaster stands at 287 feet. Yes, I know that's a hypercoaster height, but it drops 300 feet. And it has a max speed of 90 miles per hour and an impressive 85-degree drop. Guys, this is my favorite Giga Coaster as of right now. Though this summer I am visiting Carowinds, so it's probably going to change with Fury 325. But right now, my favorite Giga Coaster is Orion for one reason, and that's the intensity. It has an insane drop, especially if you're in the back. You're going to get whipped over that lift hill. Then it has some amazing elements like the wave turn that really stand out and the speed hill. And it has a moderately forceful helix. And yeah, this is just a great ride. Now, guys, before I reveal my #1 roller coaster ever, you guys must subscribe to the channel, turn on those notifications. That would really help me out. We're nearing our 3,000. We're nearing 3,000 subscribers. I'm really happy about that. Oh, and don't forget to comment down below on other videos you think I should do, your opinion on my picks for top 20. So, without further ado, #1 is Steel Vengeance. And guys, if you don't know, Steel Vengeance is the world's best roller coaster. The world's best roller coaster. This is an RMC hybrid, a conversion of Mean Streak. This coaster opened in 2018. It's 205 feet tall, 75 miles per hour. And guys, Steel Vengeance is just insane. I can't get over how insane this roller coaster is. I got on this roller coaster thinking it's probably overrated. But when I got off of this thing, oh my god, guys. I was blown away. Steel Vengeance easily deserves my #1 pick for all the roller coasters I've been on. Steel Vengeance is packed with a major ejector airtime. I'm not kidding. Major ejector airtime. 27.5 seconds of it, to be exact. Guys, I did not expect RMC to do this well on Steel Vengeance, but they really blew me away. And that, guys, is going to wrap up my ranking of my top 20 roller coasters of 2021. And now it is 2022. I'm sorry this video got out to you late, since it is basically the middle of January now, technically. It's like January 10th. But I do hope you enjoyed my ranking video. Let me know down in the comments if you agree with my rankings. If you disagree, also let me know of that. And tell me your rankings in the comments. And I really hope you enjoyed. Remember to subscribe, like, turn on those notifications. And I'll see you guys on the thrill side of life.